Hello and welcome to QED Stata 4 from part S25. Now we have a merged data set, we can do some simple analysis. And here's a suggestion to start with. We'll take SU happy star and add to the do file and execute. And this means exactly the same as this. So star is a wild card that matches all possible values. So here, because we have these two, it matches 2012, 2018. So it's the same as doing that comparison. So hopefully, if we add into the do file, which I've formatted a bit better and put comments and stuff on, put that in here. Oh dear, don't think I copied that. It's better. And execute that. So it's compared the summary statistics between those two. So we can see that mean happiness seems between 2012 and 18 to have increased slightly. Hooray. Okay. And there's 33 different countries, but then there's thousands of observations in each country suggest that happiness may be going upwards. So as it says here, it seems there's some sort of evidence that people are getting more happy, slight increase. So we put in 8 more lines in the same sort of thing. We can use this shorthand to see what's happened when changed with the other questions and see where you think it looks strongest. So in the do file we need to go to. If we move the do file over a bit, it gives a clue of the things we're putting in. So it's quite easy to type this stuff. So we need SU looking at the satisfaction one. So as long as we put enough in that it covers all the possibilities, so HA find LB to make sure it only matches one possible one, equal. So that'll cover the variables equal incentives 2012 and equal incentives 2018 and so on. Next one, science and technology. Oops. Next one after science and technology is importance of God. Then euthanasia. The next two you have to put a bit more in because it's there's democracy actual, there's democracy important, so you've got to put enough in to let's make sure it knows which one's which. Otherwise it, I suppose, doesn't matter if it compares them all. Okay, that's all of them. So let's just run the whole thing and get all the comparisons at once. Back in the results window. So where does it look as though there's some evidence that values are changing? So that's the happiness one. We've done it twice, never mind. So happiness, there's a slight increase maybe. Satisfaction, even smaller increase, 0.05. Household finances, people slightly less happy with household finances. So increase in happiness, slight decrease in satisfaction, slight, almost no change really, human household finances. Now this, if you know what the variable means, this actually means this increase here is a move towards, and it's compared to the others quite a big increase, a move towards people saying that there should be incentives for people to take to do the right thing, rather than equality of income being enforced by the government. So it should be up to more the individual to do things based on incentives rather than states taking action to make things more equal. So there's been a move in that direction in that 6-year period. Science and technology, very tiny, but a small decrease in people's faith in science and technology. It suggests there. Small decrease, 0.3 in the importance of God in those areas there. Similar kind of rise in acceptance of euthanasia or assisted dying, however they phrase it. Importance of democracy decreased slightly, and also a slight decrease in whether or not the country you're in is actually democratic. So democracy is slightly sliding, both in terms of people liking it and what they think actually is happening in practice. So stronger evidence, it's probably in the areas of the euthanasia one, 0.3 difference, the God 1.3 difference, the bigger ones, science technology slightly less, and the equality one. So it's pretty, equalities and belief in God and belief in euthanasia, there's been the biggest changes according to this, at least, in values. But again, we've got to consider why are we seeing these changes? Could it be that people just didn't give us the correct information? Or could it be that we've spoken to people, we're biased in the way we've selected people? If we've seen the World Value Survey have done good representative surveys, then it could still be that through bad luck, these random differences come up. So what's the chance that these differences here could just be random effects of sampling error? And that's what a t-test could try and tell us. So we can apply some t-tests to that. And as I suggest here, you'd be looking at null and alternative hypothesis. So for example, the happiness one, mean response that would have been given to the question on happiness among all the adults in the world. Oh, okay, I thought it was long, but it shouldn't be that long. Okay, I'll correct that later, but I shouldn't say among all adults twice. Sorry about that. So the mean response that would have been given among all adults in the world to that happiness answer, to the happiness question in 2012 was the same as it was in 2018, and was not the same as the alternative. Now here, because we've got matched samples of data in 2 years, we can use paired t-tests for all these. We've got observations of the same countries before and afterwards. That's why we're doing it at the country level instead of the individual level, because within each country, it was different sample of individuals each year, so we can't pair up the individuals, but we can pair up the countries. So was there a change in the country level, mean country level between these 2 years? When I did that before, the Yangon example, I did that, we made a new variable and generate a new variable and say you could do like this. Okay, well that's what we did before. So with Yangon we did this, generate a new variable with the difference between the old variables and then test whether or not that mean is 0. Because it's so common, Stata just lets you do it in one command. So you could, instead of doing that, we could have just typed that and we get the same results. So here to do this, instead of generating a new variable, we can just do t-test. Happy 12 is happy 2018 and see what the computer says. I'm going to put it in the do file. And what was I going to test for that? So trottle off to the results window. There's the output. So if in fact there hasn't been a change, then the chance of getting a change a difference as big as this, well, that's that quite small difference. The chance of getting a difference as big as that among this sample of from 33 countries is 0.6542. So it's a quite a high chance. So there's a very good chance of getting this if there is no difference in actual fact between the 2 years. So the null hypothesis we have to stick with. There's no evidence at all here that happiness responses to the happiness question have changed at all. So the test results tell us that we can't be at all sure that there's been a change in happiness values. Okay, so 28, have a think about how to do this. Basically, you have to put same t-test commands in for the other 8 questions and then run those and see if you can conclude anything from them. So I'll pause the video and put those in, and then we'll just look at the results together in a few moments. So here I've, again, formatted a bit with comments, and I've put all the t-tests in, so I'll just run all the t-tests at once. And then just scan through the output from those. So there's the happiness one we looked at already, and in each case we're looking for a difference. Unless you're particularly optimistic or pessimistic person, there's no reason to think that things will have gone up or down. So we're testing to see if there's been a change. So we're going to reject it if we find we will reject the null hypothesis of no change if we find a value in 2018 much higher or much lower than 2012. So we're looking for the 2-tailed alternative. So for happiness, not significant. For satisfied as well, no difference. 62% chance of getting a difference that big, so could just be random. For household finances, It's down here, almost 60% again, so no evidence here at all that people are more or less positive about household finances. Equality. Now here we get something different. Yeah. This is one that when we just looked at the descriptives, it seems that it's quite a big difference between those two responses on a 10-point scale to something like this among thousands of people in 33 countries. There's quite a big difference to find. And indeed, the t-test confirms that if there hasn't been any change between 2012 and 2018 in the whole world population, the chance of selecting people in these 33 countries and getting this big a difference is 0.000, and that means less than 1 in 1,000. So it's incredibly unlikely. So here we can reject the null hypothesis with more than a 1% significance level, at the 0.1% significance, at the 0.1% significance level. We can reject the null hypothesis and conclude that there's strong evidence for the alternative, which is that values on equality have changed. In the data we have, it seems there has been this movement into more kind of conservative kind of direction, or free market kind of direction, away from a kind of community socialist kind of direction towards the idea that people should fend for themselves and respond to incentives rather than having equal outcomes guaranteed by the state. There seems to be a move in that direction. Okay, so that's one significant result. Looking at science and technology, yeah, that's almost significant as well, and a decrease as well. So almost significant, not quite. You can't quite reject the null hypothesis. It's not less than 5%, but there's intriguing indications there that attitudes to science may have changed. So that would be worthy of doing more investigation. Attitudes to God, and this one, yeah, it does come below 5%. So again, some fairly strong evidence that values in terms of importance of God in people's lives, or what they say about that at least, has changed over that 6-year period. But euthanasia, not important, even though it seems quite a large, seems to be the same sort of size change as the religion one. It's not significant, and possibly because there's a lower sample. It seems a lot of people, they didn't ask that question in some countries, or people didn't answer it anyway. So we didn't find so much out about assisted dying or euthanasia. Democracy, no, 20%. That could just be random, and a high percentage with the actual democracy. So the ones where it seems that we've got evidence there has been a change is so importance of God, religion, faith in science. Both God and religion seem to have suffered in terms of people's faith in them, or belief in them. Is that right? Oh no, science has gone up slightly. Okay, slightly. But the most clearest one of all is this thing about equality, a drift away from belief in states providing more equality and towards states providing incentives for people. So a kind of more conservative drift in values. Okay, so you can get quite a lot from those quite simple t-tests, and they're easy to apply. So it does seem there's some intriguing evidence. I mean, obviously there are many criticisms you can make about this whole methodology of the way of measuring values, but there's some intriguing evidence there, at least, that values may be changing. Okay, so in the final section, we'll just look at some relationships between these values and income of people. Is it all driven by materialism or vice versa? But we'll save that for the last video. Thanks for watching.